Hello everybody, welcome to our Arkham Horror, the card game scenario review, where we're going to talk about, as you can see below us, the three things that we feel are important to the scenario, which are theme, fun, difficulty, and then an overall rating. And we're just three talking heads. Each playthrough is different, but this is what we feel when we talk about it. We're doing the three from the core set in this video, starting with The Gathering.
This will be the whole Night of the Zealot campaign.
Yes. So of The Gathering, the basic gist of this one is that this is like the introduction, the tutorial. Teaches you mechanics. Investigation and fighting enemies, really. Yep. You start in your room and the door's gone, and then you gotta find clues to find the door, and then there's monsters. A notable monster in this one is the Ghoul Priest, who the first time you see this motherfucker, it's like, this guy is impossible, how the hell do we beat him? Because he has 5 health, which...
5 health per investigator. Yeah, the first time we fought him, he had 20 health, and it was quite daunting.
And we were like, impossible.
Yeah, can't do it.
How do you do this?
I think we did manage to pull it.
Yeah, no, the first time we did, we had like a motley assortment of baseball bats and switchblades that we managed to bring him down with.
So this gives a nice introduction to boss monsters with the health per investigator. Also forces you to look up what that means.
Yep.
So.
It's also really good in the fact that if you don't kill him, you learn quickly that you do not need to do everything in a scenario.
Yep.
Because he comes back in the second one if you don't kill him, and you're going to have a bit of experience and be a bit more prepared.
Yeah. And just looking at his card, he introduces you to a lot of concepts. Victory. The monsters can do more than one kind of damage, and more than like one. He's got prey, hunter, retaliate, just an assortment of keywords.
That are on more enemies you'll find later on.
Yeah.
There's not much for me to say about this one.
Make you look them all up at once.
Yeah. You also gain Lita Chandler, who is an important ally, where she kind of teaches you about some other stuff like parlay to gain allies on your team and stuff like that, and giving you bonuses.
Also, the fact that the game is going to help you along, assuming that you do certain things. The game will give you rewards through your campaigns.
There's a few rooms that you can encounter, like the attic and the cellar, that will give you these kind of teach you the concept of surprises, where things can go wrong and rooms can hurt you when you enter them, and you might not know what they do, because on the other side it's just, here's your spooky cellar. And then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, it's cold down here and I take damage. Yeah, other than that, there's not too much for me to say.
This one is really just a big introduction.
So then I guess we'll just go down like theme. How does the theme hit you for this one? We have
It's pretty thematic. There's just ghouls coming out of the place. I mean, like, it's not great. It's not a specific theme.
Yeah, I mean, like...
But it does, like, generic horror pretty okay, I think.
Yeah, to me, I would personally give it, like, a 2
Yeah,
out of
that's
5.
what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, a 2 or 3, but probably closer to 2, just because it's so generic.
Yeah.
How about you, Bryn?
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd probably give it a 3, but...
We can go do 2.5 then. That's cool with me. That's, just... It is, like, to me, like, this is the kind of thing I want. That's, like, this is right down the middle.
It doesn't have any, like... It's just... It's super generic is the only point against it for me, really, right? There's nothing, like, especially Arkham-y about it.
Yeah, and, like, it's also, like, you don't actually see the theme in the mechanics because there's no time to do that.
It's a very short scenario, and there's no, like... Again, it's just introducing you to the mechanics of the game. They can't do anything fun with them like they do in some of the later ones.
Yeah.
To make you feel like something's
And in my opinion, the core set ramps up on theme very quickly. So yeah, it's just straight down the road. How about for the fun factor?
Fun. Okay, so this might be a little bit disputable, but I think that this one is probably, despite being so simple, it's probably a 3, 3.5. Because for different reasons than just playing through it, like, it's a very, because it's so simple, it's easy to set up, it's a very good place to test new cards.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, the fun factor on this one is quite low. I would give it like a 1 out of 5 because I don't want to play this one. Like, it's a good way exactly to test cards and test decks, but I'm not like, I want to play this one.
Yeah, no, like, and it's different for me because, like, it's my game, so I have more opportunities to play with myself and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, I've had a lot good times with this scenario.
Yeah, I do think playing this one with the core set cards only, I'd probably give it a 1.
Yeah.
Because you have no real way to regain lost hit points.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for one player to just get killed really quickly and then have to sit out and wait for everybody else to finish the scenario.
Yeah.
That isn't
which is,
fun
I think,
for a first, especially for first impression if you don't know what you're getting into.
Which is, it's a very easily led into, like, you know, you've got one person who hates playing this game now because they didn't get to play.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else did.
Yeah. So I'm going to 1. Bryn's going to...
I'd probably go with a 1 as well.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, 1. All right, let's talk about the difficulty. This one is very easy. The first time you play, you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is tough. Mm-hmm. But then we're kind of reviewing this with the entire core set box, and actually also the entire Arkham release up to Path to Carcosa,
I guess.
Currently.
I think for these we're going to try and look mostly at just what's in the core sets because that's what you have available.
Yeah, right? if you were playing it with just the core set cards, I'd probably give it like a 3.5 for difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, like your first time through, probably I say it's like closer
I think it's hard.
to a 2. Once you like know what you're doing.
I would call it a 2.5.
The core set cards are not very good.
Yeah.
I think it also depends like how many. If you have 2 core sets, that cuts the difficulty a lot. The difference between having 1 and 2 machetes is huge.
Yeah. And like I also think like your first time through is probably a 3.5 because things are unexpected. I think the second time it's a bit like straight down the road 2.5, and then like the other ones.
Yeah, as you get more cards, obviously everything gets easier.
So I'm gonna say a 2.5 for this one.
I'm going 2. 2,
and then let's go with 2.5 because that's all kind of just in between everything and it's mine, and you know, I'm greedy.
What?
Overall,
well, because Bryn said 3.5 and you said 2.
So for overall, are we gonna discuss it, or are we just gonna try and like eyeball the average?
I think we just. Well, I mean, like also, I think like also the overall also can go beyond this. It's like how we think this scenario is as a scenario.
Yeah, like as an introduction to the game, I'd probably give it like a 4.5. Because it did teach us a lot of things.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
About how to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say quite a 4.5 because there's a couple things that the next one introduces. I'd say a solid 4, though.
Yeah, I'd also say a 4. Yeah, just because that's an excellent point. It basically teaches you the game, and it teaches you everything important about the game.
Yeah, but like once you play it once, you've seen pretty much all there is to see, right?
Yeah.
So
I do want to play this one at least one more time because there's maybe a boss monster that we have some unsettled business with.
Yeah, we gotta really. We'll be getting to him and we'll be talking about that. So I'm just gonna.
But
so here is 2.5 out of 5 for theme, 1 for fun, 2.5 out of 5 for difficulty, and a 4 for overall.
Overall looks really out of place.
It does look out of place, but I feel like for what it is, it's a good.
It's very good for what it is.
Yeah, we probably would have rated it higher for fun if it were just after we had finished it the first time. But like sitting where we are now and having seen all the things that they can do.
Yeah.
With the scenarios.
Like I said, I still
okay, it's not a great scenario.
Purposes,
yeah.
But for like just playing through it, especially if you're just playing this campaign again, you're kind of like, I just kind of want to get through it, you know.
All right, I'm just going to quickly. So why don't you do an introduction for the next one, and I'm just going to reset all of these.
So the second one is the Midnight Masks, and this one sets up the big town of Arkham with. You have to explore and go investigate, collect clues and investigate cultists, and then usually do something. Most of the time you can just kill them. But they have alternative means in case your team isn't set up to do that quite so well. This one's important in that it ramps up the difficulty a fair bit. This is actually, I think, one of the harder, like if you're trying 100% scenario, this one's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
To get the best result for. Like not just this one, but I mean like in general.
There's 6 people you need to
you don't have
deal with.
Time. But this one continues with the learning theme. It teaches you how maps work in the game and how like moving between locations and how certain locations connect to other ones.
Because the Gathering was a very closed map where you're very much like here's a little bit.
It's very railroady.
And then this one's like here's a whole city that you can explore and figure out and try to find.
This one was also an introduction to the concept that you don't necessarily need to finish everything the game's laid in front of you.
Yeah, yeah.
But it might come back to bite you later.
It also introduced the concept of the game doing things you definitely wouldn't expect, like how the sixth cultist is actually on the other side of the thing.
So here is
the agenda, or is that
agenda 1A turns into this motherfucker who comes and at this point is also still one of the scariest monsters you've seen in the game. Yeah. He targets the person with most clues. He hunts people. He gets
most of the time, the person with most clues is going to be your secret, your yellow player, right?
The one who's not built for fighting. Yeah. This was a great surprise the first time.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was just like, oh.
Holy crap.
So there's not just stuff on the back of this card saying stuff.
Yeah.
And this one you also are going around Arkham and finding various people to deal with in various ways. So like, for example...
you can just kill them all, but...
Yeah. But you can also just spend 2 clues to parlay with him to add him to the victory display. And then there's just some other ones where it's like just combat or other things that makes you get those on camera.
Yeah, they're like spending clues.
They all also have
tests or
like
whatever.
A flavor to them, right?
Yeah, I mean like the Wolfman, you actually just have to kill, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a Wolfman, you can't really reason with him. Then there's Ruth Turner, who's the mortician at the hospital. Oh, she's another one you just have to kill. Okay.
Or evade.
No, if you evade her, it's just over.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's hard to read.
So they all have different ways that you can beat them.
Like with the spend 2 clues, if you like give him information, he's like, oh shit, I was doing horrible things. I need to stop doing this.
Yeah, right. They're very generous in their game mechanics of making sure that like individual people don't feel useless depending what you build your deck was.
Yeah, with her, for the flavor of, this is going on the theme, I'm kind of just moving into that, pay her money, and she stops doing what she's doing.
Doing bad things. She gives up the information you're looking for.
Exactly. And then also she doesn't show up later, so it's kind of like then she's out of the cult. Right?
This encounter also just briefly punishes you for not killing the Ghoul Priest, because he gets shuffled into the encounter deck, and he can show up again who knows when.
Yeah. But I feel like killing the Ghoul Priest is quite possible, especially when you get Lita Chandler on your side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's much easier in this one. Assuming you're not going for the best possible ending.
So for the theme of this one, the theme of the Midnight Masks running around Arkham and trying to stop the people with the masks.
Yeah, I think this one's much closer to a 4.
I was going to give it a 3. I mean, like... Yeah, like the interaction with the people is flavorful and where they spawn is flavorful, but like, again, it's super generic. Like, oh, we got the mortician at the hospital. Like, yeah, okay, where else would she be? Mm-hmm. And on top of that, it's just you're just running around town like talking to people. Yeah.
Like. There's also the...
it's sufficient. It's got a nice, solid theme to it, but it's nothing special in my eyes.
It also, it doesn't do much to make the mechanics in terms of, like the one where you're on the train. That one feels like you're moving forward and going through the train. Yeah, but I'll still need to reference it, because to me... Or even the casino one where you're literally testing your luck, and you could cheat to push your favor.
It's not entirely fair to compare this to those, because those are, like, the...
I'm still for the theme one. To me is different because there is the potential for what it could be. So that one's a little bit more open ended.
I guess.
Yeah, I think based on what they had to work with though.
Yeah, I would probably give it like a 3.5 out of 5.
Are you just gonna pick the numbers between my friends every time?
Yeah, it makes me so. It's just easy. I don't have to, unless either of you guys want to change.
No, I think this one was good.
Sick
one. Next, you just.
No, that's it. 3.5. Go, Justin.
Across the board.
How was the fun for this one?
This one can be a little bit frustrating, actually, depending on if you get the wrong cultist.
Yeah.
For example, if you build your decks the first time, you have Wendy Adams on your team and Daisy Walker, and
you get the Wolfman.
Yeah, you get the Wolfman. You're kind of shit. Or but if you get Ruth Turner, you're sweet. This is incredibly easy, right? Knowing what you're getting into is pretty fun, but I think I can definitely see it being frustrating sometimes.
I can see that too. This one is my favorite of the core set. I hate the third one.
I enjoy this one.
I enjoy the challenge that the third one presents, and apparently Travis does not. We're going to have to disagree on that one.
We haven't gotten to that one yet. We'll talk about it later.
The fun for this one, this one is my favorite of them. Mm-hmm. So I personally would give it a probably actually 3.5, probably. No, 3. 3. I'd give it a 3 because I gave the first one a 1. So let's not go too high.
I'm gonna say 2 for this one because again, like of the aforementioned frustration with deck building, especially as a new player, but also sometimes you're under a very I've played this one a couple times trying to get the best possible outcome. Like I said, it's incredibly difficult and very frustrating sometimes. Sometimes they just spawn the other side of the map, and you're just like, well, I can't actually do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how even if I pull every test successfully, it's just that one happened to be last in the deck. So get wrecked me.
Okay, Bryn, I have a 3. You're at a 2 or 2.5. 2. 2.
Yeah, I'd probably put it somewhere around a 3 as well. I do remember it being it was tough, and I do remember we were trying the first time we played through it. We were trying to get everything done because it was like, if we don't get everything done, we lose.
Yeah,
because we didn't.
And we didn't get everything done.
And we were like,
and that was really frustrating.
Yeah. This one also introduces the mechanic too. There's only one act card, and you flip it over. It's just okay. You get punched a little bit on the next one.
Yeah.
But good try.
How about the difficulty?
This one's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
To do if you're trying to get through it.
What do you think is a baseline for the number that you should hit?
For difficulty?
Yeah, for the number of people,
it depends a little bit on it scales with what difficulty you're playing on.
I'm talking. Yeah, and I assume we're talking about standard for all of this for these conversations, and I feel like
because of the alternate things on these. This one's actually easier on higher difficulties than other ones are, because you don't have to make tests as often.
Yeah,
right? And that's playing on the higher difficulties is all about just how can I make as few tests as possible.
Yeah. So I gave the last one a 0.5 or a 1. I feel like
we end up calling it a 3 because of its position.
Yeah.
Because of you probably only have 2 core sets to work with at most, right?
Yeah.
For your first run through.
And I feel like your first team, your second time through, getting 3 out of 6 dead or dealt with of the cultists is probably the baseline.
If you're just trying to get through with a reasonable amount, 3 maybe 4 done. I think this is probably a 3-ish, 3.5, maybe even 4. But if you're trying to beat it, this is I won't say it's the most difficult, but it's a solid 4.5.
I'm gonna give this one a 3 on the lines of not getting them all, but getting a good chunk.
Yeah.
It's easy to beat, just not easy to beat perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably score this one at a 3 or a 3.5.
Cool, well 3.5 then, because that seems to be. All right. Last but not least, overall, how would you rate this one? Overall. Now let's go against what we did last turn and give this one a 1. Just to make it even more confusing for people watching.
I think overall this is a pretty good one. Despite the randomness problems, it's reasonably enjoyable.
Yeah.
And again, it gives you a good opportunity to test several cards. And they really go out of their way to make sure that everyone playing gets to play the game.
I'd probably give this one a 4 again for overall. It's not worse than the last one, and
is difficulty a positive or a negative thing?
It's dependent on the person, I think. This is just if someone wants to come in and see which ones to try out. Mm-hmm. It'll be better for the Mythos packs. Or what's the difficulty of this expansion? Right. So
we can give this one a 4.
This makes a bit more sense.
I was thinking 4 difficulty in mind is a positive thing.
I also think 4 is.
It is Arkham Horror, and that's part of the charm.
Yeah, I think difficulty is. A positive thing as well. Yeah.
To a certain extent, I'm sure there'll be one where I say it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
It's so difficult that's not fun.
Yeah.
But I guess that'll reflect more in the fun rating.
Okay. I'm gonna quickly just set those up again, and why don't you start the last one, where we've talked to our good friend Erdmordoth.
Yeah, you want to go over this one, Bryn?
You have the biggest history with him.
Well, this one can be quite frustrating because you don't have all of the woods. You don't get all of them, right? And you can't always move back and forth from them. So a lot of the time you'll move into the woods and then you'll get ambushed by a monster and you can't leave, have to move or someone else can't get there.
From the central path, and then you can't always get back to the central path.
Yeah. So that is definitely irritating.
No, the story behind this one is like you go in, you wander through the woods till you find the ritual site, and then you gotta like either prevent them from summoning Ormadoth, seal him away if he's been summoned, or kill him.
Or kill him, which...
Or like dump your channel.
We were so close that one game.
Is the end goal.
Yeah.
You should always be trying to kill Mordoth.
So as Bryn was saying...
Always.
It won't be that difficult.
Yeah, we did it now.
No.
With what we have now.
There is a bunch of Arkham Woods, which are all like this.
Yeah, they all look the same.
And you just get a bunch randomly in the game.
Yeah, you get a random set of them.
And they're all different, which this one is teaching the mechanics of kind of just random chance.
Right.
And what that will do for the rest of the game, because it's a theme that comes up again and again and again and again. So it's one of those things that this is a perfect example of that.
Sometimes the game will just screw you over and like
make it artificially harder due to randomness.
Yeah, one thing you have to understand about this game is sometimes just okay, you got me again.
Yeah,
you did good.
Yep.
So then, the theme of this one, and I'm going to get into another edition otherwise, because to me this actually, there is a bunch of, you shuffle in one random set of one of the 4 big popular old ones, which is either Yog-Sothoth, Cthulhu, Hastur, or Shub-Niggurath. To me, that goes against the theme in this one. Those are just kind of like cool foreshadowing, being like, look at these things.
Look at the things that we could do.
This is the core set, and they're just saying like, hey, you're gonna get to deal with these at some point. And because the old one, Ormadoth, isn't like an actual character from the mythos, as far as I'm aware.
As far as I'm aware,
they definitely wanted to tie in some of the more notable names.
So then, for me, the theme is going to be talking about just trying to search through the woods to find the site. Leaving these ones out right now.
Yeah, they're not a part of like the story. This encounter itself, really, they're just they're a bonus.
He does 3 damage. He kills everyone in the game.
Is
in like 2 hits.
The hardest monster you've seen. I actually like, in my opinion, also just with the time that you fight him, he's even harder than say the final boss of the Dunwich Legacy campaign, because you can actually work around him.
Probably.
Yeah, most of them offer you a way to beat them, even if your character is poorly suited.
Yeah, and this one does, where you have to sacrifice Lita Chandler.
This one offers you no alternative but to kill him.
That's R2,
which is frustrating.
R3.
R3?
Yeah.
The investigators have survived. I mean, like, it technically doesn't say that.
Yeah, but you're also crippled and broken, and you've just thrown away one of your friends.
In my opinion, it does very good from the book side of things, of doing that kind of Lovecraft feel, where there's really no way to win.
Yeah.
Unless you can actually kill him, which is a very hard thing to do.
It is very difficult.
Yeah. I mean, like, under Resolution 3, it doesn't say that it's a win, but it doesn't say that it's a loss, and, like, everyone survives as well. Whereas the other two explicitly
but they're all crippled and broken, so is that really surviving?
And I feel like this is teaching you that you can't expect an ultimate, like, win or loss from this. It's a story-based game, right? So you're going to make decisions.
You don't always just, there's no ending where, you know, like, all the bad guys are dead, and all the good guys go home and marry the princess, or whatever. Like, there is no ending like that.
There's one. Like Carnival and Rougarou.
Yeah, but those aren't really count.
Rougarou can be like, oh yeah, we went back to normal, he's great again, and we just left.
Yeah, but mostly you just kill him. And you're like, man, I feel bad about that.
I guess.
So for the theme of the Devourer below, making way through a maze in the woods to find...
I think this one did a pretty good job of conveying the, like, you're under pressure.
Urgency. There's a lot of urgency in this one.
You gotta find your way through it, and, like, you gotta... And, like, part of the frustration of wandering through the woods and sometimes not having the ones that connect is kind of plays into that positive.
I agree.
Right? Yeah. Well, I think it's a frustrating mechanic overall.
No, it definitely is.
I feel like this is one that, for me, is better on theme and difficulty than it is on fun. Because of...
I would say this one's more fun than the one that came before it, if only because it is very challenging.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
It really depends what you personally enjoy, right? Like, you're probably not going to win it.
Yeah.
At least not in a fashion that you want to.
I like the second half of this a lot more than the first half of making it through the woods. I like finding Mordoth and dealing with him as opposed to getting lost in the fucking Santa, like the old house and the cliffside.
And that kind of plays into the theme, right? Like, you don't know where they are, you just have to wander around and check places.
Yep. And a lot of...
It's more so this part that I don't like, the random connection.
Yeah, it'd be nice if like 2 of them had the same instead of having them be like.
I feel
6
like
different ones.
I also feel like this is something they've gotten better at since then, unless it's like the one the Last of the Dunwich Legacy, where it's supposed to be a maze.
It's supposed to be tough,
like
to find your way around places and move from somewhere to a different
But like the
place.
museum, they could have easily have done it like this style, but I feel like they've gotten. They're like that wasn't the best way.
Like because with a lot of these, like you can't move from like this one to this one ever. You have to go back to the starting location and hope that you can find a place that moves to this
Which
place.
means, like, if, for example, someone who's not good at feats gets there, it's like, dang, right?
We need those clues.
Yeah.
We have no way to advance this game without getting those clues.
The biggest problem is that
there aren't if they had enough
the biggest problem
connections
is like
that you always had one that could move into another one.
The most frustrating thing is they're all squares on the back, but when you flip them over, they're all different things.
Yeah.
So if the wrong person gets stuck there, you can go back to the site, but you can't get back there unless it's through the other locations.
Yeah, and there aren't, like, they don't necessarily mean there is a way to get back there, because you do play with a random selection of them.
And, like, there is a lot of connections with them, but we've had one, every game we've had at least one location where it's like, okay, you need to stay there until you get
have
everything.
you cannot leave.
And then
ever.
a monster comes and it's like, well, okay, come back and we'll just have to forego those.
We'll have to figure out how to do this without that.
Yeah. So for theme, once again, I think theme is stronger for this one. I would probably give it a 4. No, 3.5.
Yeah, I think 3.5 is pretty fair for this one. You're lost in the woods. You're not really sure how to get around. If you split up, then
yeah, you're lost in the woods.
Maybe you don't know where your friends are anymore.
Yeah.
I think theme is probably the strongest component of this one, but like I think it's probably just a 3 again. Like it's super generic and that loses points for me.
I actually, as you talk more, there's some that I think that are
like it's just like
better. So I think I also agree with the 3 now.
The old one's even just something they made up specifically for this. So like, oh look, there's scary tentacle monsters you gotta run from.
Yeah, he is weird. He is just tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fun.
All right.
Like it's exactly what like someone who knows nothing about or very minimal about this would get into and see or expect.
How about the fun?
Oh, I'm like hoping.
I also agree with Bryn. Having the difficulty and the challenge of Urkmordoth really is enjoyable, but I really.
Yeah, like the woods section of the game could have been orchestrated a little cleaner. Like if each one of them moved to one more type of location than they do,
It'd probably really help smooth it out.
Then it would make it so that no matter which section of them you got, you'd have something that could move back there, right?
Yeah. It
might take a while to find it, but
I want to give it at least a 1.5, just because it's more fun to me than the first one, because the first one is quite plain Jane. But I don't know what you guys think.
I think the first one's more fun because it's more accessible and
that's fair.
It's easier to know what you're getting into. Again, for testing cards, which is a concern more for me than you guys. But this one also, like, I find the second half in particular pigeonholes you incredibly hard into what you're doing. Like, you probably, most times we played this, we have our goon sitting back the woods or whatever, main path, whatever it's called, and like the seeker or the person who can get clues goes to the ritual site and they get mobbed by whatever was left over from the previous.
Because those guys show up. Anything you don't deal with.
Yeah, then they have to fight them, and then like you have to have your goon come kill them, and then like after that, if Urkmordoth spawns, the goon's just useless other than from fighting off random garbage.
Unless he can kill Urkmordoth.
And on top of that, you also need to have someone who's good at brains or feet, like with clues, to do it. So.
Yeah, I think the design that they seem to have gone with after this, where it was just have the clues sometimes be in a specific place.
Yeah.
Is a much cleaner design than this one. Than this one's got, where you have to test a skill, and if you don't pass, then nothing happens.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of improvement.
Mm-hmm.
So then you think it's less fun than the first one, so you give it like a 0.5?
I give it like a 1.
What about you think? What do you think,
certain...
I would give this one like a 3 or a 3.5.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the segment where you get to tussle against this guy.
Bryn likes boss fights.
I like boss fights.
I think in that case, I'm going to go with just a 1.5 because it's between your guys' amounts, and I think that's just...
Like it is,
because if there is someone who likes the boss fight, there is a big boss fight at the end.
It is also really hard just to do anything.
All right, difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going on the kind of approach that we have for this, to me the difficulty for this one is a 5 to get the win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to get result 3, I would say this one's probably more of a 4, right? To just get to there with Lita Chandler.
There's 2 wins, right? There's killing him, and then there's the clue one.
Oh yeah, the clue one, which
I don't think we've ever tried to do that one.
Justin and I did it once.
And that's the R1.
We played through just 2 of us while you were away in like Hawaii or some garbage, I think.
Sick.
Or something like that. No, you weren't around for a couple weeks, Justin. I played with it.
So the R1 is...
R1 is like everyone died. No, no resolutions, everyone died. R1 is the... if you break the ritual to summon him.
And what's the one that you...
R2 is kill him. R3 is if you dump Lita into him.
Yeah, which isn't like a proper resolution at all.
Yeah.
And you should never do that.
Yeah. Because this one's the easiest one. Just getting there with Lita and dumping him to Erdmordor.
Yeah,
that's doable.
Yeah, like why even bother then?
Yeah.
No, the Lita thing's there mostly as a bit of a cop-out for new players so they can do it and still feel like they accomplished saving everything.
Yeah.
And not just, oh, we played this game for 5 hours and we just lost.
Mm-hmm. So then, what do you, like, the true victory then is killing him or putting the clues on?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say
is... on is quite easy, especially, like...
I think the true victory is putting the clues on, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if you kill him, you still end up, like, broken and crippled afterwards.
Yeah.
So the difficulty then...
you still end up, like, a little bit...
Like, a bit
Not
crippled.
so bad, but you get, like, 5 bonus experience.
You do.
If you do the clue.
And then you go to New Orleans and talk to the Rubers.
So I think the fighting one is a bit of a bonus for people who want to go back and do it.
So then what would you say is the difficulty for doing the clues and like getting through there and...
I still give it like a solid 4, especially considering what you have access to for cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes you just... Especially if you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
The game throws a lot of twists at you that you just probably aren't prepared for. Like the cultists mobbing you.
Yeah. That is a big, it's just like, oh, shit.
The big baddie showing up and you're like, oh, I have to work around him. And by that I mean, like, die.
Usually die.
Having to stumble through the woods. Like.
Also having a massive enemy, this is the first massive enemy.
Yeah, it's the first massive one you encounter.
Yeah. I would agree with a 4 for difficulty.
Yeah, I think a 4. I think a 4 is pretty fair.
I'd be really hesitant to give anything a 5.
Anything yet a 5.
Yeah.
I mean, like as of right now,
it's that
the first part of Path to Carcosa. I'd give a 5.
Yeah.
But like I think playing it again,
it
would probably be less than that.
Yeah. All right. Overall, The Devourer Below. I would probably personally give this one a 3. The frustratingness of the first half really drags this one down for me. That's IMO, but you know.
I think I'm a bit more pessimistic. I think I give it 2. I feel like just the first half's frustrating. The end is unlikely to be satisfying, and just.
Now look, just because the first time we played this, I refused to throw Lita Chandler into Erdmordor, and we all died.
Bryn has never sacrificed Lita Chandler. I've thrown her many a time.
No, not like just that. Like even if you do that, you're like, okay, he just goes to sleep, and like it was a free win. Again, it's there for people who aren't really there to win. Like the clue one isn't super hard. It's more like just actually getting there.
Yeah.
Also, it's like the difficulty of this one is actually very contingent on the previous one as well.
Yes, that's
with how many. Like if you only get 2 of the cultists, you're screwed.
What about you, Bryn? What do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably give this one like a 3 or a 3.5. I think overall.
Cool. I will go with I'll go with a 2.5 because Travis made a good point, and I said a 3. Bryn said a 3 and a 3.5. We'll go with 2.5 because Travis swayed me with his argument.
I've also played this one a lot more than you guys.
It's true.
So.
All right, so those are. I know this is a bit weird, but like. It's not like an average between them, right? Like the theme can be good, but the overall the thing can still be poor, right? Like the fun and the difficulty are really what make the grade.
Like even if something's very thematic and it's very fun to play and it's also quite difficult, taking it as a positive. Like if it doesn't tie together well.
Yeah.
If they feel very disjointed, or there's certain mechanics that really just kind of bring it down, they can get a bad overall rating.
But yeah, that's the core set. We're gonna have more reviews coming up in the near future. So thanks for watching. If you like this and you want to see more Arkham Horror content, let us know because
we like doing it.
We like doing it. Thanks for watching.